You ready to go now?
Yep. Always.
You want to remember?
Come and maneuver your thing for me, please. That I want to shift. I don't know. You don't know your thing going.
No, you don't have to. Your view, you want him to lift.
Right, but this is the view I want, but that's in my way. So move
that's what I want to know. If it's in your way,
yes.
let me know. But
right.
when they take it from your way, I might do it in someone else's face.
Oh,
that time
okay,
I pick up.
Oh, I see.
You go to go.
Perfect.
It's alright.
Anyway, it's just my face that as we see, because not even makeup. I just moisturize my face tonight. I don't
Yeah.
That's for me, man.
No.
That's fine.
Get some for me.
That's fine.
Get some for me, okay? I want one, please.
I will try.
Okay.
You already know something?
Yes, it does take a while to generate.
Yeah, we just go on to get it to get people,
Yeah.
into the vibe.
Why you don't think we know what we're doing after the year?
No, I wanted to know so I can come up in your.
We know.
Yeah, that's how you can come out in our view. So what are we doing in our view?
I don't know this spotlight.
And it's on Q95.
One of those days we should show it to come.
Yeah, that's what I normally put in my WhatsApp message.
Yeah.
www.q95da.com.
But tonight is a website, no Facebook. Let them know they go straight to the website. They will not see it on Facebook. They might not look for Facebook.
But there's no our Facebook.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
They have a Facebook, they can see it all.
And there are some people who actually, they already have the kids on Facebook. But
Somebody said we don't see all this.
good night, Sabina.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We're going to start.
Transport it.
We're going to start. Yeah, start.
It is 9 minutes, moving down past the hour of 8 o'clock. This is the In the Spotlight radio show on Q95 FM radio. It is Monday night. It is Monday here in Dominica, the first day of October in the year 2018. Last week we had a wonderful program with my mentor and friend and former boss, James Dominica. Thank you, James, for being an amazing guest last week. And this week, we have two guests actually in studios. One who's really going to be in the spotlight, and another one who has been in the spotlight before. And Yvonne Alexander Garraway. We had that confused the last time a bit. Do we say Garraway Alexander? Yvonne Garraway Alexander has been in the spotlight before around this very time. As a matter of fact, the month of October is observed as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And Yvonne will share with us later on in the program, but in just a while, that the opportunity is being used to create awareness about all cancers. And so we will hear from Yvonne first tonight, who, if you missed the story before, in fact I think I've repeated her story maybe even more than once, and so I think just about everyone has heard Yvonne's story on the In the Spotlight radio show. But our guest tonight is going to share with us a bit later on. And tonight I always say media people are human beings too. We have emotions, we have feelings, we have all of that. And I'm a little worried about myself tonight for some strange reason. And that is because the guest tonight has such a touching story. And I didn't even quite get her story when we met on Saturday, and she had me in tears. So I'm bracing myself, to try to be strong for her, for myself, for the listeners as well. Tonight, I'm really going to try my best to be strong for everybody and strong for myself more so. But her story is a really touching one that is going to touch many of you tonight. Cheneile, Jolly, Bethel, we will say hello to her once we speak with Yvonne. But let me just acknowledge a few folks: Josephine Gabriel and Company Limited. I want to acknowledge the Garraway Hotel, Dominica News Online. Thank you so much for your support in ensuring that our flyer gets prominence on your news page. So thank you for that. Innovate Multimedia, always there supporting, ensuring that our flyer is available so I can send it to all those of you that I have on my WhatsApp and to make it available to Dominica News Online. So thank you to Innovate Multimedia, in particular Akim Lowe. Thank you for your support. I want to thank Kadisha, who is here, usually here, giving support. We want you tonight as well to like our Facebook page, In the Spotlight Radio Show. We are also on Instagram. You can view now on my page and on the In the Spotlight radio show page. You can view live, as well as for those of you who are not on Facebook but you want to view Told by Sherwin, you can do so on the Q95 website, which is www.q95da.com. Thank you to all those of you who are listening via 95.1 FM, those of you who are listening online, and those of you who are viewing via social media. Welcome again to tonight's program. We will be back right after this very, very short break. Keep it locked to the program.
In the Spotlight on Q95 FM Radio, Monday nights from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight, featuring people from walks and life. Spotlight triumphs and dreams, hopes, aspirations.
Oh, my bad.
Another one.
Yeah.
Touching the human and personal side of people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture, the media, and more. Getting to know our farmers, our public servants, youth, and the ordinary Dominica. Listen to their stories. No limitations, no restrictions, no holds barred. In the Spotlight, we also spotlight topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss In the Spotlight, 95 FM Radio, every Monday night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight.
We are back at 15 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. On Q95 FM radio, this is the In the Spotlight radio show. Welcome one and all, whether you are listening on 95.1 FM, whether you are tuned in via www.q95da.com. If you're viewing via Facebook Live, we thank you for joining us tonight, sir. The month of October, observed as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. My first guest tonight has been here on the In the Spotlight radio show, and she also had quite a touching story. She's now the president of the Dominica Cancer Society since she was on the program. I think that happened after. I'm going to say goodnight to Yvonne Garraway Alexander as we begin tonight's In the Spotlight radio show with the focus on Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Good night to you, Yvonne. Good evening to you, Yvonne.
A pleasant good evening to you, Fadina. And again, I really want to thank God for you and for this show, because I don't think you really imagine how much of an inspiration it is to so many people. It is a pleasure to be here again tonight. And tonight I really want to shout out all our sister survivors.
Oh.
Some of them have lost the fight during the past year, but so many of us are still here, still standing. And we are grateful to God for that. And we are grateful also for the opportunity to share so that many more people become sensitized about this very important aspect of our lives, illness that happens on us. You know, sometimes we do nothing necessarily to contribute to it, but it happens, and we have to deal with it. And so we are very grateful to be here. So good night to everyone. Good night, Rosa Support Group. Good night to my board of directors. And it's a pleasure to be here, and especially to have Cheneile and some of the members who have agreed, and they'll come in the future to share their stories.
And thank you again, Yvonne. And I should say that Yvonne scheduled since about 2 months ago. She said, this is what's happening in October, and I would really like to have 1 or 2 persons appear on your program. And of course, I said yes with no hesitation whatsoever. Yvonne, since you've been here, tell us a bit about what has happened before we get into Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Well, since I've been here, a lot has happened. I joined the Dominica Cancer Society. I remember being here and saying that one of the things I wanted to do is become a member of the Dominica Cancer Society and assist in particular in their public awareness campaign. So I did join the Cancer Society, and there was an AGM that I attended. I was one of the people elected, and at the meeting of the elected members, I was nominated to be the president. So currently I'm the president of the Dominica Cancer Society.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
On that. What is your role as the president of the association,
Well,
of the society?
Yes, the society is really managed by a board of directors. There are about 7 of us. It's a president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, you know, ordinary members, a public relations officer. And what we do is really try to manage the affairs of the Cancer Society. The Cancer Society has 3 main areas of focus. The first one is trying to mobilize financial resources, simply because there are so many individuals who are being diagnosed and who cannot afford to pay for treatment. So we assist, we support. We can't meet all of the amounts that some of them require, but we assist as best we can with the funds that we have. Other areas would be public awareness, raising awareness about cancer generally, and encouraging people to get screened. In fact, our tagline is early detection saves lives, and that is a fact. And again, we want to emphasize that tonight. And then one of the other things we do is provide psychosocial support. So we have a support group, predominantly a breast cancer support group, but you know, different individuals with different cancers are members of that group. And so they provide support for each other. We do things together. We have social activities, we have regular monthly meetings, and it's like a sisterhood. You know, we are there for each other. We follow up on who isn't feeling well and who needs what kind of support and so on. So that is going really, very well.
Okay, before we get to Cheneile, let us talk about what's happening for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Right, so although the month of October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we thought, the Dominica Cancer Society thought it would be a better idea to try to raise awareness about cancers generally. And World Health Organization and other global partners have indicated, and this is also true for Dominica, that breast cancer and cervical cancer are the leading causes of cancers and cancer deaths among women. Prostate cancer is the leading cause of cancer and cancer death among men. And so one of the things although it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we want to highlight all the cancers, in particular those that are the most prevalent among our populations. And all we are asking people is to support the Dominica Cancer Society, and you can do so. One of the main fundraising events is the Walk for Cancer. Many people are aware of it. It's actually something that is done globally. Throughout the world, there are walks for cancer, and most of them are done during the month of October. Some of the organizations across the region and across the world, they say they walk for breast cancer. In our case, this year we are walking, raising awareness for all cancers. It is also the main fundraising event of the Dominica Cancer Society. So by purchasing a t-shirt to participate in the walk, you're assisting in selling some of the t-shirts and raising some funds by donating, and many of our members and supporters are out there with donation sheets. Any amount you give, every little bit can add up and can assist a patient to receive care. So we're trying to encourage the general public to be supportive, come on board. We want to have a really great walk this year, simply because Maria affected last year's walk. We didn't have a walk last year because of the passage of Hurricane Maria. The walk is always held on the first Saturday in October. It is being planned for this year, October 6th, Saturday coming. Please get your t-shirts. There are some numbers I can give out later, but if you are somebody who has an email address or access to it, our email address is domcancersociety, domcancersociety @gmail.com. We just recently got office space. We are located at 30 McIntyre Lane, Goodwill. It is opposite the Alpha Center in the top floor of a two-story house. You can drop in there for t-shirts. We've not been out on the road with t-shirts because we've been filling orders for some companies that wanted large quantities. But we are still encouraging every individual to try to get in touch. You must know a member of the Cancer Society you can contact to try to get your t-shirt and join us in the walk. You have an option of walking from Point Michel to Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard, or from the Massac area opposite Simon Club, Mams, to the Dame Eugenia Charles Boulevard. And trust me, we have a really very interesting closing ceremony. We start off, the first step for the walk will be at 4:30. We start off at 4:30. Do not arrive at the walk at 4:30 unless you want to join us en route. Get there a few minutes before so that you can be part of the opening prayer, and then we step out and we walk. And most importantly, just you walking with this t-shirt on you or with one of the posters or placards that we have is already raising awareness. So please join us. Join the walk. Support the Cancer Society. We depend on each and every one of you for us to continue to meet, the challenges that are being faced by so many who are affected by this disease that is survivable. You can survive from cancer. You can. All it takes is early detection. So again, my call is, please, people, get screened. Don't take anything for granted. Women, do your breast self-examinations. Go have a mammogram if you're not sure. Men, go have your prostate examinations done. Women, go have a pap smear. That's all it takes. Just go do a pap smear. And I recall a few months ago there was a news item about Dominica really being high up, deaths from cancer. And these deaths are predominantly because of late detection. If it is detected early, it can be treated. So it is all about being detected early so that you can get the right treatment. The Dominica Cancer Society is willing to assist everyone. You do not necessarily have to be a member of the Dominica Cancer Society to get financial assistance from us. So we're looking forward to the general public, just joining with us, partnering with us. We've written to a number of organizations and businesses, and we're really trying to encourage even some of the businesses to purchase the t-shirts in bulk for your
if they
employees,
can sponsor at least,
or yes,
purchase some t-shirts.
Purchase some t-shirts. And so far the response has been okay. It can be a lot more because there are some we have written to, we have not received any responses, but we are still hopeful. And we really want to thank those who've come on board so far, and we'll have an opportunity to thank them formally. And we really want to encourage those of you who are not sure, please join us. Join us. I recall, and somebody will say, why in the spotlight? The In the Spotlight was important for me in particular because I recall speaking once. The first time I spoke was at a church. And there was this lady who met me about a year later and told me, I heard you speak at the church. And I went home and I did a self-breast examination and I discovered a lump. And I went to the doctor and long story short is she was diagnosed. It was early, thank God. And she says she was diagnosed because she heard me and she went to do a breast self-examination and discovered a lump. And that is not the only individual who have told me so, that because they heard me, they went and got screened and were detected early.
And I'm suspecting the same is going to happen tonight.
Right.
By the time we're done with
Cheneile, right? So we really, really, really want to encourage. I know sometimes for the men, we have a very interesting campaign that is coming on. It's a prostate cancer campaign. We really are hoping that the men buy into Man Up and that it encourages them to go get screened. Go get screened. You know, like the campaign says, you know, you cannot is it your ego or your life?
Yes.
Which one is it?
Correct.
You know, come on. So we are early detection, early intervention saves lives. That is what I wanted to share.
All right, but you stick with us throughout the program.
Yes. Okay.
And we will talk to you some more a little bit later on.
All right, sure.
8:28 is the time in our studios. As we're getting ready to introduce the main guest for tonight, who is going to be in the spotlight, I want to begin by saying to you, Cheneile, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
How are you feeling tonight?
I feel good. Normally, I'm not very nervous to speak, but tonight, as I share my story with the entire world, I suppose, since social media is so public, I feel a bit nervous.
Tell me about your earrings that you're wearing. Let's break the ice.
Well, I made my earrings and my necklace and my bangles because I wanted to represent cancer awareness. So I made it to represent the ribbon, the pink cancer ribbon.
So you made those yourself?
I made them myself.
Okay. I'll say to you, Cheneile, that I'm very happy that you agreed to be here tonight to share your story of what you describe as faith and hope. And at the end of it, we'll understand what you mean by that. Not many persons are willing to share their story, that type of story, with the general public, with the world, because that's the thing with social media.
It's a big step for me.
It is, It is a big step for you. And again, all of that we'll understand as well as we go through the program. I remember when I initially approached Yvonne to be on the program, it was really because she was a female police officer. Only that when we met, Yvonne throws this other part on me, and I was like, oh, really, Yvonne? You know, I had no idea that, you know, Yvonne herself was a breast cancer survivor. And she has shared her story with us, and maybe, you know, towards the end of the program, she'll probably just give us a quick recap of her own story. But your story, Cheneile, is a tough one. It's a tough one, and I really want to give you the encouragement as we start to share with us. I know you told me that you're going to be candid. You're going to be open, and you're going to be honest with us, you know, in terms of the information that you're going to share. You're not going to hold anything back. And that is important, you know, in terms of sharing and getting people to understand not just the story, but the journey, because you've been on a journey for quite some time. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to say good night to everybody and to all those who are listening to you and viewing tonight.
Well, good evening, a pleasant good evening to all. I am very pleased to be on the In the Spotlight show tonight, even as I take another step in my personal journey in sharing. Being able to share is a huge step for me right now. It's another step in my healing process. So I am very happy to be here. I'm embracing the moment, and I just want to shout out to my mom who is listening in Guadeloupe, Charlene Jolie, and my sister and my family who is listening at home, and everybody else, all my friends who are tuned in. You all know yourselves. I won't start even mentioning names because we'll get in problems.
You know that, right?
So everybody, just thank you for listening, and I hope I can encourage somebody tonight. I can reach people and I can share my message of faith and hope. That's my intention.
Tell me a little bit about yourself and where you come from.
Okay, well, I was born to a pastoral family in the village of Bells, Globomir Bells, and then we moved when I was 2 years old to Massac. So I'm really from Massac. I was raised in Massac. Yes. And a little bit more about me. I'm a teacher, an arts teacher, theater, performing arts teacher. I am also an author of 2 books, one book of poetry and one book I managed to publish last year on Kindle during my entire process. So that's a little bit about me.
I'm learning. we agreed not to share too much with me on Saturday because I want to learn as the listeners are learning about Cheneile. So the book was about what?
Well, the book had nothing to do with my journey actually. The book is a manuscript I have been writing since I was at university, and I just needed to complete it. It was put on hold because of the illness, so I just needed to complete it, and I just went ahead and did that.
What is it about?
It's about a young girl growing up in our society in the time of colonialism, and how she struggles with her finding her self-identity. Yes.
And you published last year.
I did.
What is it titled so we can look for it?
Skipping Stones with Mappy on Kindle, Amazon by Cheneile Jolie.
Skipping Stones.
With Mappy.
I know people are going to look for it. With
Mappy. Mapatrick.
Mappy.
Mapatrick.
Okay, alright. By Cheneile Jolie.
Yes.
Alright. Well, congratulations on that, Cheneile. And
I haven't done any launching for it as yet. Haven't had the time.
We should. Check me out. I'll help you. How about that? Okay, we can do that. We can make something happen for you with the launching of your book. That's the friendship that we're forming. I form friendships and bonds with the people who appear on my book. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So you have a family. You're married.
Yes, I am.
Any children yet?
No children yet.
The dream is to have?
Yes, I do want to have a few children.
A few?
I am smiling because I don't think my husband is going to agree with that.
The few or the fact that you want to have?
No, the few.
The few. He might think 1 or 2, but not a few. Mm. Anytime you start talking few, you're talking about 3 and more, right? Yes.
I was raised with 3 sisters, so
you want a big family. All right. So, okay. So Cheneile, we're going to start talking about your journey, and let us begin with the first. Let us begin at the beginning.
Okay.
With the first journey. Yes.
All right.
The first leg of the journey. I'm sorry.
The first leg of the journey. Well, in the breast cancer isn't the first time I was brushed with cancer. In 2010. I found a wart on the back of my neck, and I went to the doctor about it, but it was very small at the time, and he asked me to come back to remove it, but I was scared and I just didn't want to go through that. And I had never had any surgeries before, and he did take his time to explain to me, but I was just like, no, if it's necessary, if it becomes necessary, I'll do it, but at the time I just didn't come to do it. And then 1 year later, it had grown into this humongous wart
on the back of your neck.
Back of my neck. And I remember wearing my hair always down so it would hide the wart on my neck.
And let me just interject here and say that you had the most beautiful long hair.
Thank you. Yes. And then I started, if I had to wear my hair up, I would put makeup on it so it would not show. So I used to conceal it. And then one day a friend of mine who is a doctor, he saw it and he was like, you need to get that checked out tomorrow at the hospital tomorrow. So I said, okay, maybe, as he told me that, I got a little more serious about it. I went the next day to the hospital. When doctor saw it, doctor was like, no, I came in for a little surgery and that's not a little surgery. And he did a huge removal of the water and everything. And when it came back from the biopsy, it was positive for melanoma cancer, that's skin cancer. But he was satisfied with what he had done, and I did not need any further treatment. So it has never bothered me again, and I did not even have time to really process that I had melanoma.
So you had the surgery,
Yes.
you had it removed. You remember what that was like? Take us back if you...
I did not want to have it done generally, under general anesthesia, so I did it awake, and it was pretty gruesome. The neck area is very bloody, so it was a lot of blood, and I could feel the blood
But that
hot
is...
and running down my neck, and it was, I think up to now, this doctor friend of mine, his finger is probably still having problems because I was squeezing his finger so hard because I needed to focus on something, and that was where I was focusing on his finger.
So wait, but that area was deadened.
Yes, I
That
got,
area was
I
dead.
got spinal shocks.
Okay.
Back, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you remember seeing all the blood and all of
I
that?
do. I have never been a soft-hearted person. I am soft-hearted in terms of humanity and social awareness, but not. I'm brief. Yes, I from the Wassin crew. So yeah, I did it that way, and so that was my first brush with cancer.
And that was in 2010.
Yes, that was in 2010. And then I had to wear a collar for a while because my neck, I had removed some muscles. Well, some muscle had to be removed because the water had entered it. So my neck was kind of falling. So I needed neck support, so I had to wear a collar for a little while. And then I got over it eventually. And then in 2011, I went to study in Trinidad. And then I think it was in 2014 that I started feeling not myself. I had started losing my memory. That's where it started. And I was very, very, very aware memory-wise. I could recall lectures very easily and so on. And my professor, one day I was in the car with her in 2015, and I said, Miss, I said, Dr. Brown, something is terribly wrong with me. And she said, in a joke, you need a bush bath. So I said, push back. No, something is wrong. So she said, well, you should check it out, whatever it is, check it out. So I went to the doctor, and it was pure paranoia that got me to where I am. Right? I went to the doctor. I said to the doctor, something is wrong with me. My memory is going away, and I need to know what is going on. Maybe I can get some tablets to restore my memory. I don't know, but help me. So that passed. He told me there's nothing wrong. That happens. I'm under a lot of stress. I'm going to school, it's a lot of stress and stuff. And then I couldn't sleep. And then he told me that it was anxiety. I was getting anxiety attacks and stuff. I'm like, anxiety attacks? Could be, but I have been told for many years that I have been getting anxiety attacks, and I personally don't believe so. I think there are things that happen in my body and I'm responding to it. So I got this uncomfortable feeling lying down. I love lying down on my stomach, and I just couldn't lie down on my stomach for no reason. My chest would pressed down and I could feel like something is preventing me from sleeping and it's pressing against my chest. And so I said, you know what, let me go and check this out. So I had a confidence in my massage therapist. I had the same massage therapist because of the same muscle thing in my neck. So I went to her and I said to her, look, this is happening to me. And then she felt the area for me. And she said, there's a lump there, you know.
Just like that?
Just like that. So I said, there's a lump there? Yes, I can feel it, there's a lump there. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to the doctor. I went to the doctor and the doctor said, you know what, it's just galactoria because I had some...
What does that mean?
Galactoria is when your breast is producing milk, right? And although I was not pregnant or anything like that, my breast was producing milk. And it was because of amenorrhea, that is no period. I had no menstrual cycle for 5 years. Yes, it just had disappeared. One aborted business. And he said to me that it's because of the galactoria, my breast is very lumpy and it's not nothing I should concern myself with. A lot of people in my age, you don't go through that process.
That's what the doctor told me. And that's where in Trinidad.
Yes, and I paid I paid 600 TT to hear this. Anyway,
That's like 300 EC, right?
Yes.
Yes.
About that.
Mm-hmm.
It was 100 US. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I said, okay. I was very thankful to the doctor. I was okay. So thank you very much. And then I took myself to UE, St. Augustine Private Hospital, and I asked for an ultrasound, and I got the ultrasound, and lo and behold, there is in fact a lump there. And the guy who did the ultrasound said that the technician said that it's nothing to worry about. It looks like a fibroadenoma.
Again.
Yes. So I said, okay, thank you very much, but this is in the back of my head. And just
you're not satisfied with any of those.
Ringing. So I went home and I went to see my doctor. He did an aspiration injection in the office, and he said that is a full lump. But he said, well, you can just come to remove it any Saturday. Excuse me. So I said, okay. And then Erica happened. Okay, Erica happened on the 29th of August. So 2015. So I said, okay, well, grammar school, which is where I work, grammar school is being used as a shelter and we don't have any work. So I'm going to use that opportunity to go remove the lump. Whether it is, and I had no idea that it could be cancer. Because everybody kept saying it's nothing, right? So it's fibroadenoma. I'm going to remove the fibroadenoma before it gets to something. So I did my surgery on the 5th of September 2015. And then doctor called me and my auntie in on the 21st of September and said that he said, Cheneile, this is your results. And he gave me the results on the table. And he started talking. And he said, once I started doing the surgery, I observed that it could be that. And I stopped hearing the doctor, I stopped hearing my auntie, I stopped hearing everybody. I started to zone out because I don't know what they're talking about there. Okay, I'm just looking at the people in front of me saying diagnosis, infiltrating ductal carcinoma. And I'm like, carcinoma? Is that cancer? In my head, I completely zoned out from whatever they were saying. And then my auntie kept on talking, and she was really irritating me because I just wanted to be by myself at the time. And she continued talking, and we got into the car. And I didn't cry on until we got home, because the hardest part for me was telling my mother and my grandmother, because those two has been through so much already, and for me to bring that news to them, it was very, very, very hard to do, and I couldn't do it. I started crying. I met my uncle before we got home. I met my uncle, and I let my auntie do the talking basically, and my uncle said that he would bring the news because I couldn't do it. And then once the news was broken, I see my grandmother just started crying, and then I started crying. That was the time I started crying, and I was just like so sorry that I had to tell them that. I think that was the hardest moment in my entire process, was to see the response of my family, especially my grandparents and my mom. And then after that, things moved pretty quickly. I had a moment with myself, and I was like, well, you know what? You took me to Trinidad. I didn't know how I was getting there. That's a whole other story by itself. So you took me to it, you took me through it, you brought me here. You're gonna take me, you're gonna carry me the rest of the way. I could not do all this and go through all this just for it to end here. And I had a serious one-on-one talk with Jaja. And I said to myself that I have no control over what is happening to me. But what I do have control of is how I respond to it. And I'm going to manage how I respond to it. So I started by reading. I read a lot to inform myself, to prepare myself, and to prepare my family as well. And because I read a lot and I was prepared, I managed it better, I handled it better, and I was able to maintain me for as long as I could. Right? In terms of up and downing and trying to get bureaucratic stuff worked out, that was the hardest part for me. Because I was tired. I was just tired, and I didn't want to do it. I wish somebody could just carry me and do all the transactions for me.
You didn't have anyone who could assist you?
I had my aunt who was assisting me, but she was also taking care of me physically, because at the time I could not move my arms, stuff. I could not bathe myself, so she was taking care of me. Thank you very much.
You could not move your arms?
No.
I remember you even talking about the arm situation.
Yeah. And for some reason it was affecting my stomach as well, because I couldn't bend or lift myself properly. I don't know if it's because of the other surgeries I had before, but it was a bit difficult moving about after the first lumpectomy. And then 1 month later, I went and did a segmentectomy. And
you might have to break down some of the language for us.
The segmentectomy is a partial surgery. You don't do the entire mastectomy, the entire removal of the breast. You remove parts of the breast. Okay, so it was not really necessary to remove the entire breast in that instance. Also, I made the tough decision to do that because I wasn't ready to lose my entire breast. Mentally, I wasn't ready for that. I didn't have any children yet. I was thinking about how am I going to breastfeed my babies, because I'm still not thinking that this is a death sentence.
Right.
I never accepted that as a death sentence. So I'm like preparing for the future. Hello to my children, how are you going to get milk? Because I really want to breastfeed them. So that was troubling me a bit, and I appreciate that my doctor managed also my psychological aspect of me. Once I did the segmentectomy, I had to now go to Guadeloupe or anywhere else that could do radiation to have the radiation done with the chemotherapy. We cannot do radiation in Dominica, so I felt that I could go to Guadeloupe because my sister was in Guadeloupe and it was close enough to Dominica, and I didn't really want to go very far from my family at that point.
All right, let me just pause you for a moment. Our Facebook viewers are saying they're having difficulty hearing you, and I am not sure why. They probably need to put up their volumes because Kadisha is listening via her phone and headphones, and she's hearing quite well. And our mics are quite fine in here, so I'm not sure why our Facebook. Yes, I'm seeing the comments. Don't worry, but I didn't want to interrupt her, while she's telling her story. I'm not sure what exactly this situation is. Can you hear me properly though when I speak? If you can hear me properly when I speak, I am hearing her. Look, somebody says they're hearing well. So some people probably just need to raise up the volume on whatever it is they are listening to. Oh, somebody says they're hearing very loud. We appreciate you, our Facebook viewers, and there's some other saying it's very clear, so I'm not sure, and we want to make sure everybody is hearing properly because the story she's sharing is an interesting story that I think her mic is fine. I think it's from their end that maybe one or two persons, is somebody saying you are loud and clear, but the guest is not. No, I don't know why. Probably it has something to do with my phone. The most I know is the phone is on silent, but you should be able to hear. We always put the phone on silent when we go live. Okay, somebody says we're hearing you both loud and clear, so we should be good. We should be good. We should be good. Some persons probably need to fix from their end.
I've also tried to speak up.
Yes. All right. But we're doing well so far. Cheneile. So you then had to decide on where you're going to get radiation. So at that stage, just to clarify, you did not decide on a mastectomy.
No.
Because you wanted to have your family, you wanted to have children, and you wanted to make sure that you had your boobs to give them, to breastfeed your children. But you had to go through the radiation.
Yes, I had to do chemo and radiation.
You had to do both chemo and radiation. Okay, so you had to decide where to go. Let's take it from there.
Okay, so I decided to go to Guadeloupe because of my sister, like I said. And then once I made the decision as to where I was going, I need to find the funds now to get to where I'm going. Because at the time I had basically just returned from studying and I did not have a fine bank account as I would like to have. So I had to find the funds, and this caused me to delay a bit.
Okay.
Yes, because I had the surgery in October, and in December I was still in Dominica.
And that was 2015?
Yes,
Okay.
that was 2015. And then when
were you getting worried by then?
I definitely was, because time was important. It was crucial, right, to get in the treatment that I needed. So, and then I did make the decision to keep the breast, the small part of the breast, based on the fact that I was going to get this treatment. So it was crucial for me. So I was under a lot of pressure, and I was up and down and trying to get funding and so on. And then finally, I got some funds from the Cancer Society, and then I left with that. And also the government, the health, Ministry of Health, they assisted me with my passage. And then I had put in a request for assistance with the government, and I did not receive that until April, so I had to wait. Was it April, or I don't want to be inaccurate? March, yes, it was March. So I had to wait until then for a little while. And once I got to Guadeloupe though, I was faced with a new problem, because in Guadeloupe, you can't just walk off the street and enter the hospital and be taken care of, okay? Especially with a condition like that. If it's an emergency, an urgence, they will see you right away, they will do what they have to do for you and after sort out everything. But if it's not an urgency, they will not do it. They will ask you for your papers, what health insurance you have, and so.
So you're dealing with that
Yes.
already, and then you have to deal with all of that
Yes.
bureaucracy and all of that.
Yes. So it was very difficult. They told me, why did I not come with a letter from my ministry, which was stamped by my consular? And I did not know what they were talking about. I went to my consular. She said to me, why are you coming here for chemotherapy when you have chemotherapy in Dominica? I told her, well, my doctor said that I needed chemotherapy and radiation. And also...
Where's the empathy?
Yeah. And also my doctor said that I needed neurological support. He needed neurological support to treat me with chemotherapy because I was presenting signs of something else going on with me neurologically. So I absolutely needed to be in a country where there was neurological support and radiation. I didn't get through that method, that means, but I did not stop there. Thankfully, thank God, faith, because the reason why I wasn't stopping it was because of faith. I just believed that it was going to happen. Whatever was going to be would be, and it was going to happen. So I just continued pushing, and I did learn French in grammar school, but it was not the same when I had to speak it in Guadeloupe. And so I had my new challenge, which is
Communicating.
language, getting refamiliarizing myself with the French that I learned in high school, and getting on board with everything and learning their culture, the cultural tactics that they're using and stuff like that. So it was a research program all over again for me. And I went to stay at someone's guest house, that is Paradise Hotel, Paradise Hotel in Guadeloupe. And the owner of the hotel, the chef of the hotel, was very, very helpful. He and his wife. They carried me to the hospital every time I needed to go.
Were you alone, by the way?
At that time? I was alone at that time. No, I wasn't alone at that time. My husband was with me. And I went to the hospital quite a few times, and they brought me every time. And then they took me to see different people that I knew that was helpful in my situation, and I was told that I could get the IMO card, which is a card that is for international aid. But I had to stay in the country for 3 months before I could get it. Yeah.
Another hurdle.
Yes. So I couldn't move. I had to wait. And during my waiting, I am spending money in euros that I don't have. So I'm working in minus here. But I continued anyway. Going back to that time, it's really difficult. It was a really difficult period in my life because the uncertainty of everything was so grueling. Because now 3 months have passed since my surgery. I remember time was crucial in the first place. So I felt that, okay, well, Lord, I'm in your hands now. Definitely I'm in your hands. And I went through moments of disparity, just complete despair. And it was during that time that I learned a whole new side of faith and hope because of nothing, which is faith. Right? You just live in because you're alive still, and you just want to go forward. You don't want to die. You want to live because you have all these plans and dreams, and you're young. You never quite make yourself with mortality. And for me, I was not ready to make myself with mortality. And I was also becoming afraid of that because I'm like, why are you not making yourself with mortality? You know, mortality might hit you.
Yes.
Will you be prepared?
Yes.
So it was a lot of inner reflections and inner reflections, and I was just feeling like I was going down a rabbit hole, and I would not get anywhere with that. I had to pull from the deepest roots to keep myself on top of what I had to do, because it was only me that could do what I had to do. So I don't know, I had to pull.
Because by then you were there for how long?
By then I was there for 3 months, because I got there in December. I returned to Dominica because I didn't have the funds that I needed yet to stay there indefinitely. And once I got the word from the government that I would get the funds that I needed, I left again. And then once I got to Guadeloupe, I was faced with a whole new set of issues with family, because where I was living, I could not. I felt like I was brought there to take care of a baby, and my hands were still in the cast.
Oh wow!
And I was not staying with my sister at the time. I was staying with my sister's boyfriend at the time, and he had my sister's daughter. So it was a bit jarful in that instance, and I did not want to stay there.
And you didn't need that. You didn't need that.
I could not deal with that at the time.
You were going through so much mentally and physically.
So I think that there are so many dynamics to those situations that people are not aware of, because you're dealing with your physical problem, you're dealing with mental problems of your physical problem, and then you're dealing with external problems that you cannot help because of your condition. So, and then it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper if you want to pick it aside. So I need to drink some water, sorry.
Yes, please do that. (9:04) is the time in studios. If you're just joining us, this is the In the Spotlight radio show, and we have as our guest tonight Cheneile Jolly Bethel, who is sharing a story of survival to some extent, and you'll understand what I mean by that as you continue listening to a story. You okay, Cheneile?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I will be okay. Yeah. So I was at the point where nothing was happening, but kept on pushing. Then something happened. Because what I have learned in this process is that no state is permanent. So I just kept on waiting for that state to pass on, so I can get to the next level. You know what is
Where you can get treated,
yes,
because that's what you wanted.
That's what I wanted. But during that period is when I got married. Actually, yes, it was already on our agenda, and then we were putting it off because there was so many things that we were dealing with at the time. And then I just decided, you know what, let's do this now, because I just needed something to do, I think. And
So you got married in Guadeloupe?
I did. It was during that time when I was feeling my lowest, but I got married. I needed something to smile about.
I hope that made you smile.
It did.
Temporarily?
It did temporarily. Permanently, I think no.
Okay, good.
But yes. And once I got married, I returned home to see if I get more fun.
So still no treatment yet?
Still no treatment yet. But I was having other problems. I was experiencing other problems. I was hemorrhaging from tamoxifen. So I was being seen in the hospital for that. And the tamoxifen was giving me all kinds of infections. And it was...
oh boy.
Yes. So I had that experience as well to deal with. Also, I was waiting, and the thing with Guadeloupe and many other places actually is that when you make an appointment for an MRI, you have to wait. So they gave me an appointment for an MRI in 3 months. That was in March. I went to see the doctor in March, and they gave me an appointment for 3 months to do the MRI, and an appointment for 6 months to do another MRI of my breast, one of my breasts and one of my head, because of the symptoms I was presenting. They felt like something was wrong in my head. So I had to wait on that. And then I only got to do the one for my brain in November of 2016. And then when I went to do it, I got the results immediately, and it confirmed the suspicions that they had before, that I had a brain tumor. And
So wait, let's pause a little bit. 2016.
2015.
We're coming from 2015, when you were supposed to be in Guadeloupe to get treatment for breast cancer. You were waiting, your treatment was delayed because you were waiting to get support. And then at the same time, you were dealing with an infection, which would again delay the treatment. At that time, before you did the head scan, had you by then gotten your treatment?
No, I did not. And that's the reason why I got a relapse in 2017. Okay, so
take us through that period, because the tumor part already has me in a whole different world right now.
Yes.
In the head, because we've not even dealt with the breast, and the head tumor is showing up.
Yes, exactly. But the tumor, I was dealing with it for a long time, but unconfirmed, because I did one MRI for it in 2008, but it wasn't showing up on the MRI, so it was inconclusive, and I did not receive treatment. Then so it just continued growing until we could see it now on the MRI, and so that's the reason why I was presenting neurological symptoms before. And yeah, so to get back to all this time passed, and I was being treated for symptoms relating to the tumor, but not directly treating the tumor, because they don't know what it is yet, right? So every time I come to hospital, I have cognitive problems. They take me, they treat me, they do whatever they have to do, and then they discharge me.
In Dominica?
Not in Dominica.
In Guadeloupe still? So you're in Guadeloupe still all this time?
I'm in Guadeloupe still all this time. Alright, so they treat me, they release me, and then they're waiting for the MRI. I don't know why they wouldn't just do the MRI in the hospital, because they have an MRI machine in the hospital. If I am hospitalized, they could do the MRI. So, but they didn't do that.
Was it because of money?
I think it was because of the fact that I did not receive my eye look at as yet. So they were just being lackadaisical about it. As far as they're concerned, I'm stable. I'm not in any harm or risk of dying. So, and also my blood work that I did showed that I was in remission from cancer. So they were not pushing really the treatment. They said that they don't give treatment of chemotherapy 3 months after your surgery, or radiation 3 months after your surgery. It needs to happen right away. So unless if you were taking chemotherapy for the period previously preceding the
Diagnosis?
no the radiation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you're taking chemotherapy directly preceding the radiation, then you can have the radiation. But if you were without treatment, they will not give you the radiation.
So you just had to accept that you had...
That I was not going to get radiation and was not going to get chemotherapy. They told me that if it comes back, then they will treat me. So basically, I sat for a year
waiting for cancer to come back.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And I guess you can imagine what kind of mental state someone would be in if they're just waiting for something like that to come back, right? Because I was praying against it very hard that it would come back.
Yes.
But once I got the diagnosis of tumor in November, I was hospitalized in December, for the brain tumor because it was my cerebral fluid was leaking. So I was hospitalized for 2 weeks. And during that time, they did a big checkup and all kinds of MRIs and tests.
You sound like then you were tired.
I definitely was. I was tired, I was missing my family, I wasn't comfortable, I was not in a very good financial place, and I was not eating properly at the time, and I felt that if I just had to go through that one more time, that's what might kill me and not the cancer. But I did it. You have to do it.
You have to do it.
As long as you're living, you have to do it. So I did it, and then in January I had my MRI, my breast MRI. That's the second
In
one.
2017, we're in 2017 by now,
Right.
and you're still in Guadeloupe.
Yes.
That's a whole year almost.
So in January 2017, I had my breast MRI. Lo and behold, the cancer is back.
What went through your mind? What is
That
happening to
day,
me?
I was disgusted. I was upset to the point that I just like, you know what? Why am I fighting for no anymore? Why
You
am
were
I fighting?
giving up.
I was giving up, and then I was in the moment of me saying, why am I fighting for? I am also encouraging myself by saying, but Cheneile, you did it the first time, you can do it again. But I say that, so I'm struggling with my two selves, and I'm speaking to myself in third person and all kinds of things. Because okay, that was my coping. That was how I was coping. That was my coping mechanism. And I went home and I was crying. I told my mom, you know what, mommy, I just feel like giving up. You know, I don't feel like fighting again. And she's like, you don't feel like fighting again? I don't think so. You just say that no, but then by tomorrow you're going to be all in your book studying what is that, you know. So I was very thankful for my mom. My mom was in Guadeloupe at the time because my mom is sick as well.
Okay.
My mom has kidney problems and she's disabled. So it was very hard. And then I had to make the decision to do the mastectomy at that point. Not because the doctor said that it was necessary, but because she said that I did not have enough breast to do a segmentectomy again. Because at that point it was still in its early stages, you know, so it was still at stage 2. Yes, it was still at stage 2, so I still could have saved my breast if I had more breast. But I just have little boobs.
You didn't have to much. Maybe you should have had so much.
Exactly.
Mine, right?
Exactly. So well, I had to make that decision, and I made it very reluctantly, but I made it. And I had my cousin in America, who's a psychologist, supporting me fully. She was always there to listen. Thank you very much, Linda. So she was just encouraging me, and you know, for her, I should just remove both of them. Right? So I'm like, no, there's nothing wrong with the other one. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. Why would I take my perfectly good breast and remove it?
I remember Angelina Jolie did that, right?
Yes.
She had a double mastectomy
I wanted to do it.
because she just wanted, because I think it was in her family history, and so she just didn't want to have to deal with it.
Yeah, but when I did my receptor test, I was positive for progesterone and estrogen. Yes.
The hormone receptor.
Right, and I was inconclusive for HER2, which is the genetic cancer. That one is very, very difficult. If you, so if I was positive for that, I would have removed both of them.
You would have made that decision.
I would have made that decision without. But seeing that I wasn't, and I read, so I was aware that it's not really necessary to do that. So I decided not to do that. And I'm very thankful that I decided not to do that. And I just hope that nothing happens to that person.
We're praying for you.
Yes.
All will be well. All will be well.
Because my child will have one breast. So, yes.
At least we can smile a little bit along the journey.
Yes, yes. I like smiling. I love my sense of humor.
Okay.
So,
Decision made.
Yes, decision made. I had to do the surgery. So while I was in the surgery for my mastectomy, I had to remain in hospital for a little while. My mom got hospitalized at the same time. So, yes, I think
Same hospital?
Yes, in the same hospital. Kidney failure. So I was running. I'm waiting for the nurses to no, I waiting for the nurses to go away to rest themselves so I could escape to go to see my mom because I'm not supposed to leave. I'm not supposed to leave the hospital room where I am. And she's on the second floor in the northern wing, in the north wing. And I am on the west wing. So when I felt like they were not anywhere near, I played to back.
You stole a chance. Volé chance.
I volé chance to go and see my mom because I needed to see her. I needed to see her. And
remember, she was your strength.
So I stole into her room, and because I was wearing and please nurses don't have to look out for people because of that, because I was wearing my tag, they thought I was on the ward, so they just sent me in. I walk past walk past what? Walk past okay? Okay, and I went to see my mom, and I stayed in her room for a while. She was in a private room, so I stayed in her room for a good while, spent some good time with her. That's a picture I showed you.
Yes, I saw it.
Yes, so, and then, so that was one of the very interesting moments in my experience. That my mother and I was hospitalized together, and we had to pull from each other's support and strength.
Not the best place to be,
Yes. But we don't have a choice, so we have to deal with what we have.
Yes.
We have to make do with what we have. Right? So after my mastectomy, it was very difficult.
Before we get to the after part, so that time you went to see your mommy, when was the surgery scheduled for?
It was April. I had already had the surgery.
Oh, you had already had the
That's
surgery.
that's why I could not leave the room.
Oh,
Yes.
but kind of help us understand your mental state when the day arrives, and that is the day that you're going to lose part of your womanhood, if you want to put it that way.
It was hard. It was hard, no doubt about it. It was hard. But I was distracted by the fact that my mom was hospitalized that same day. So I did not have time to dwell on it. And I was very happy for that moment because it just helped me. And I obviously was not pleased that my mom was hospitalized, but it helped me deal with that.
That is a very, very tough situation to be in, Cheneile. Very, very tough situation. You were getting ready to have your breast removed, and your mother is in the same hospital with you in a foreign country with kidney issues.
Yes.
Did she have to be on the machine and all of that?
They did a
dialysis
they
machine.
put a GG tube for her. That is a tube that removes waste from the kidney into the bladder, and then just another catheter that comes out and removes the waste, the rest of the waste. So they are doing that still because they said that what she has, I can't remember the name right now, but what she has, she doesn't necessarily need to be on dialysis right now if that can work for her.
Okay.
Alright, so
Where is your mommy now?
she's in Guadeloupe.
She's still in Guadeloupe.
Yes, she's in Guadeloupe.
Is that where she lives, or she's there because of
She's there because of her illness. She can't leave because
that's where the treatment is?
Yes.
Oh wow.
I mean, there is treatment for kidney failure in Dominica,
Mm-hmm.
However, her problem is complicated because of her spinal issue.
Okay.
because she's disabled.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you had your surgery
I
done.
had my surgery done.
Was it day? Was it night? Do you remember?
It was day. It was in the morning.
Just in the morning.
Yes, it was. I got to the hospital at 6 a.m. and I started going through my process because I have to pray and center myself and do a little bit of meditation and read some psalms to just help me deal with what I'm about to experience. And then my sister calls me and tells me, I'm taking Mommy to the hospital, Mom is very sick. And then I still did my meditations and stuff. And then I started focusing on Mommy because now I want to leave the hospital to go and check my Mommy because I always tell my sister she doesn't give me enough information. So I want to hear it from
because remember, you're in a position yourself, you know, and they would probably want to burden you with you know that kind of information.
Oh no, for my sister, no. My sister just doesn't give enough information. And I feel like I have to be there to hear for myself. But that is just a problem with me. I just like to hear from else's mouth.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you couldn't be.
No.
Because you were preparing for surgery.
Yes.
So surgery happens about what time?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. and it was done by?
It was done by my doctor, my gynecologist, Dr. Smile, who I really appreciate. She made me feel comfortable the entire way, and she couldn't speak English to save her life, but she tried.
Okay.
She tried her very best because she was like, I try to speak English for you today.
Okay. She was making an effort.
Yes, she was making an effort. Just to make me comfortable. And she told me that they will give me my injection and I will be allez. So I was like, okay, well, I want to know a thing, so what am I just have to leave myself in God's hands right now, you know. I'm in the hands of my creator. I did not bring myself here, so I just had to deal with that. But it was in the back of my mind about my mother, and then the prayer of serenity came back to me in that moment, right before I went out. You just have to leave things you can't change, you know.
That's right. So you woke up.
I woke up, and I was like, oh my God, I'm alive.
That was the first thing.
Yes, I always have that experience.
I was about to ask you, how did you feel when you woke up?
I always have that experience whenever I do surgery in general. That it's a dying moment. And then when you wake up, you're alive. You happen to be alive because so many things can go wrong during surgery. But you made it. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. And that was this thing. I said, thank you, Lord. I'm awake. And then I think I went out again because I buzzed.
You were still under the
ice. I'm sure that whoever was there when I woke up had many stories to tell about how I was begging my awake state. But yes, that was something else. But as soon as I could, I was aware of my surroundings and I could do stuff. I was not disoriented anymore. I took the opportunity to steal away to see my mother. That was the same night of my surgery. I needed to see her. I needed to know what was going on. I needed to.
You couldn't even care that you had lost a breast.
No, that was the last thing on my mind. I did not even look. I could not look. So this was distracting me. So I was focused more on that. Yes.
I think that's what you were doing. You were using your mother's situation
to
distract your own circumstances.
That's exactly what I was doing. I believe that's what I was doing. So that was my
mastectomy experience.
Yes. And then after mastectomy, I had to do a scintigraphy. Now the scintigraphy is a bone scan. And on my bone scan, they saw tumors on my spine. So I was like, what?
No way.
What's going on? And then I was like, what did I do I seriously started to reflect in my review mirror of my life. What could I have possibly done to get here today? And then I was reminded that you didn't do anything. You know, I want to take that opportunity to see that people say anything to you when you have cancer and they don't know what to say. Okay, so they will tell you things like, what? How you get that? You need to look at your life. I've had the worst things said to me and the best things said to me, and I have taken away from each of them, right? But I understand why they say what I would consider stupid things, because they don't know what to say, and in that moment, that's what came in their mind, and they just.
So you're still forgiving?
Of course, you have to forgive them, because if you don't understand, well, it's something else. You'll get upset about it. It will depress you and stuff. But if you understand why they are saying those things that they're saying, then you handle it a little better. To be a little bit, it will still trouble you, you know, but because you'll be like, I can't believe there are such people in this world. But at the end of the day, you think on why, what could possibly inspire them to say such nonsense at this time, you know? But yeah, you have to give and take. Yes. So
Tumors on your spine.
Tumors on my spine. I said, Lord, you know what? I'm not going to ask why me, you know, because if it was $1 million, I would never ask why me.
True.
However, I want to know what's going on, why I am in that situation, right? And I started some deep prayers and meditations on that, because I need to get to the bottom of it. So a lot of people said, they think people do you mal and all kind of thing like that. For me, yes, there is evil. I believe in evil. I believe in good. But based on evidence and science, I had a brain tumor, which was resting on my hypothalamus, my pituitary gland. It was affecting my pituitary gland. It's a macroadenoma, prolactinoma to be exact. And
a lot of medical language there, but we're understanding. We're feeling.
And because of that, my period had stopped. And when my period stopped, my estrogen had to go somewhere, so it was pumping in my breast. And then estrogen is a growing hormone, so it caused lumps to appear. And then, so that was that. Based on my doctor's findings or conclusions from Bethel, he's saying that it was the tumor that caused the breast cancer. The tumor wasn't treated, so it caused the breast cancer. Alright, so that was where we were at that point. And once that happened, I was feeling better about it, but I had to do a biopsy to prove if these tumors on my spine were cancerous as a result of the breast cancer, and it had spread to my spinal. And I was like, it just sank in my spirit that it was not going to be cancerous. So I was a little less afraid to do it. And it's one thing with me, I always listen to my intuition, I always listen to my inner voice, always. A lot of people say, like, oh, you could just make that decision just so. I trust my inner voice.
So you didn't do any tests for that?
I did.
Oh.
I did, but I did not think that it was going to be cancerous, so I wasn't as hyped up about it. Because once I went into that meditation, I got that feeling of peace, like everything was going to be okay. I just didn't bother with it anymore. I went to do it, and that day I had to do that biopsy. That day I saw my grandmother, who is already dead. Okay? Because that was the most excruciating pain I ever experienced in my life.
Oh wow.
Bone biopsy. They had a little thing like a compass that they screwed on into my spine and then wrapped out pieces of bone, stripped pieces of bone. Now I'm awake. during that process, that procedure, and I am telling them that anesthesia is not working, but they're it's okay, c'est bon, c'est bon, c'est bon. On continue encore, Madame Jolie, restez là, restez là. So I'm like, no, and I screamed.
Something was wrong.
I bawled. I screamed. I said, Granny, but I was really seeing my granny. You know? I was like, Granny, help me. And it's like, I can laugh about it now, but in the moment it was just not funny at all. It was very, very hard to deal with. And then, even after the surgery, I was crying. I went to see my mom, who was still in the hospital, because I had just left the hospital and came back because of the scintigraphy shoulder, those tumors and stuff like that. So I asked the warden to drive me to see my mommy, and I went to see her, and she prayed with me. She told me, come Dudu, and she put my head in her bosom, and she just rocked me, and I fell asleep right there. And that's when I had some sleep, because I was just in so much pain. And for a while after that, I could feel like sharp pains down my spine. If I walk, and just randomly, sporadically, it would just happen. So,
The results came back for that.
yeah, the results came back for that, and it was not cancerous.
Oh God.
It was not cancerous at all.
And that was how long ago?
That was last year. In
That was
April.
last year. Do you have to repeat this test?
No, well, not that I know. No.
Not that you were informed.
Right.
Okay.
Right now, they're trying to find out what exactly are those tumors on my spine, because they are affecting me really badly. I can't walk for long distances.
Okay.
For short distances, I still get a lot of pain. I ask my co-workers all the time to drop me Roseville, because my first week of work last week, I had to go and get a shot because I had so much pain. My back and my breastbone just hurts. So I still have to deal with that. So I'm dealing with brain tumor treatment, and the brain tumor is not cancerous either.
Oh, so I was about to say, let's talk about the brain tumor.
It's not cancerous.
Thank God.
Okay, and it is showing evidence of shrinking.
Okay.
Based on the treatment, so it is responding.
Faith and hope.
Yes, exactly. Faith and hope. It is responding to the treatment, which I'm very, very happy to say. And the tumors, I don't know yet what they are. I just know that I'm suffering with them. They are T6 and T9, different parts of your spine. So sometimes you might see me walking like that.
Asukoti.
Yes, Asukoti, because I just feeling the pain is a little bearable in that position.
Right.
And I am very confident with myself, so it doesn't matter if you laugh, you can go ahead and laugh. I feel better.
Right.
So I will bend. Yes.
So just help us understand. So you updated us on the tumors in your head. So you're saying those are being treated.
Yes.
What
The tumor.
The tumor. It's just one tumor. Sorry, the one tumor is being treated, and it is showing signs of shrinking.
Yes.
It is not cancerous, which is good.
Yes.
The medication for this, is it having any effect on you? Side effects?
Definitely, it is causing angina, which is a heart condition. Yes. In actually April this year.
Take my body. Not my body. I'm giving it to you.
In
My
April
God.
this year, my heartbeat, I was hospitalized with a heartbeat of 138 beats per minute. And my whole entire body was just shaking with each beat. And I was told that I had a negative T wave, and they spread something under my tongue, and then I started feeling better and better and better. So they said it wasn't bad. I heart attack that was taking place. Yes. So that was in April this year.
Just recently.
Yes,
Earlier this year.
yeah. So it's the end of April.
So that's the effect that the medication for the brain tumor is having on you.
Yes, because long-term use can cause those things, but they did not expect it to happen with me because I'm young. But
Well, you're young, and you're not even 30 years, and look at all what you've had to deal with, and everything that has come your way so far. So, does it mean you have to keep on taking this medication until it shrinks and disappears?
I was supposed to take it initially for 6 months and then do a review MRI. And then upon the review MRI, then they will decide if they're going to continue the treatment, if it's responding. And it was responding at that time.
Okay. So you've done the 6-month review?
Yes, I did the 6 months review in 2017.
Okay.
And then the next time that I had to do the MRI, it was on the 29th of November 2017, and I went in to do my MRI in the morning, and in the afternoon at 2 o'clock. I left the hospital about 12. Okay. At 2 o'clock on that same day, the hospital caught fire. They had to have a big evacuation, and I was on my way home still from the hospital because I live a little way off, and then I travel by ambulance, so they have to drop off other people before they drop me. So I was still on the ambulance, and the ambulance driver is saying, what's going on? Obviously in French, but yes, what's going on? Look, there's a fire in the hospital. We just left there and stuff. I'm like, Lord, you're good.
Yes.
You're so good, because guess what? It was right where I was having the MRI done. That's where
that caught fire.
That caught fire. Okay. This place was the place I was mostly affected by it, and the intensive care unit. So.
Okay. So we were updated on the head tumor. We were updated on the spinal ones. So you're still trying to find out what is going on there. So what's the next move in finding out what's going on there?
Well, I have to go back to Guadeloupe.
Okay.
Or anywhere else that has MRI. So I can do an MRI of those tumors because I have not done an MRI of those tumors. Reason being, the brain tumor MRI was more important.
Okay.
It was more pressing. Because they said that the tumors on my spine are not looking aggressive for now. And once they have established that it's not cancerous, then they're not, it's not priority right now. But now it has become priority because I cannot move my body properly and I can't walk and just do normal things. So I always have a lot of pain. My sister's probably fed up with me because every night I want to massage. So it's a lot of pain.
You have to get one of those battery operated or electronic massages that you can just rest your body on. My sister has one, so you should probably get one of those, and that would probably serve a purpose in assisting you. Generally, Cheneile. Yes, you see. Don't worry, we'll be done soon. What has all of this taught you?
That's taught me so much. I mean, I have been told, encouraged to write a book about it.
You should.
About the experience, and I'm thinking about it seriously. I'm considering it seriously.
I mean, you already published, so.
Yeah. Well, I have taken very, very detailed documentation of my process, so it will not be so difficult to write on it. I kept a journal and I tried to document everything medically for my own purposes and just to track what is going on with me. So I am thinking about it seriously, but what I would say that it has taught me the most is to continue with my faith. So that kind of faith will make you move mountains, seriously. Because that kind of faith is jumping off a cliff, not knowing if you will die or not. That is that kind of faith. And if you have that kind of faith, you can take risks. And I'm not telling you to take uncalculated risks. But if you want something bad enough, you need to risk. You need to take the risk to have it. And I think that is the most important thing I gathered from this experience is the power of faith. When I remember some time ago that somebody said to me, when you have, I think it was my grandmother, when you have faith like a mustard seed, you can move mountains.
Correct.
Right? You can really move mountains with those things because I tell you, the strength that I have is not mine. I know where it comes from, and it's not from me. I was saying a lot of times during my process that I am seeing only one set of footprints in the sand, and they're definitely not mine. Definitely, because the way I feel and the way
carrying
and the way I behave, totally different realities. So
I am just going back to when you initially went up to Guadeloupe and knowing that you went up there to get treatment.
Yes.
You couldn't get that treatment, and you had to be dealing with the fact that you have to get treatment, and there's just a whole lot of hurdles, whole lot of stumbling blocks, and to the point where you got to the 3-month mark when you're told that you cannot get the treatment because it's way beyond the time that you were initially, that you did the initial surgery.
That was devastating.
I can only imagine.
And I was upset with them for a while because I was like, they never told me that before, because if they had told me that before, I would probably leave Guadeloupe and go to another place to get my treatment. But here am I thinking that it's coming.
Once you get that card or whatever it is that you were waiting for,
it's coming. And then to tell me this, it was very hard. And I did tell my doctor that in 2017. I told her, so you really just let me wait for the cancer to come back. You know how hard that is? And she said, Desole, sorry, it's not her, it's the system, that's how it works. I'm like,
You picked up on your French well, I suspect, within that year that you were there. It is 9:45, the time in our studios, and I want to invite you to connect with us on the program if you wish to do so at 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. Those of you who might want to reach us from outside of Dominica, you can do so via 305-432-9624. If you do not want to be on air and you want to send me a WhatsApp message, you can do so on 275-7565. And again, for those of you who have my other number, it is not my regular number, you need to message 275-7565. You may want to put on your headphones for me.
Okay.
Yes. And let us take this call. Can you hear?
I can.
Yes. Hello, good evening. Good evening to you. Cheneile. Yes.
Good evening. Thank you.
You sound very, very brave, and that with that level of confidence, I have no doubt that God is listening to you,
Amen.
and I have no doubt that God is going to bring you healing.
Amen.
I don't feel in preparation of mind. Heavenly Father, we surrender challenge to your hands, Lord. You are the best doctor ever. You are the greatest healer. Heavenly Father, I pray and I ask you, Heavenly Father, to use your healing hands. Use your healing hands, Heavenly Father, and get into the body of Cheneile. and uproot all diseases that she has in her, Heavenly Father. Uproot all pains that she has in her body, Heavenly Father. Straight away, Heavenly Father, never more to return. You have the power to heal, Heavenly Father. And I pray, Lord, I surrender Cheneile into your hands. Hear her prayers, Heavenly Father, and let her cry come unto you. Cheneile, you're a winner. And God is going to heal you. Because He knows that you have a bright future. He knows that you have plans for your life and your family. God bless you, my dear.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling and contributing to our program. Somebody says, oh my God, this young woman certainly has God with her. This is a journey no one desires. We will continue to hear from you. 4493095, 4493096, 4493097. Our overseas line is 305-432-9624. And many of you have been commenting on the Facebook Live, but we welcome your calls as well. Hello, good evening.
Compared to this lady, I think she has a strength of purpose and courage and like we love Forrester. I hope, really, I'm almost certain to that we both love Bethel. And I just wanted to wish the lady courage. I do not know how, but she sounds like a lady that has, some whole resilience there. But I want to ask her one question though. Did they tell you by any chance whether it's something you have been eating or something you have drunk or something that really enhanced that kind of difficulty that you're going in? Well,
No, they did not tell me that it was anything I was eating. I don't think it was anything I was eating. It was based on the pituitary macroadenoma.
Technical language, technical message, technical language here. Please tell our sis that Judy and Marlon will always have her in our prayers.
Thank you very much, sis.
Somebody else writes via WhatsApp, my girlfriend called me to listen to your program and I've been hooked. To be so young and to have gone through so much and to come out with such a positive attitude is nothing more than a miracle. Thanks for giving her the opportunity to share her story for Diane's. May she be an inspiration to others that they too can be living testaments of the glory of God. That's a message there coming in from a listener. Somebody else says, the journeys we go through are to help encourage others. I am glad that God gave her strength and courage to share her story of struggle, but yes, of faith and hope. And the person actually said that their name is Mary Francis. Hello, good evening. Good evening, good evening. Please try not to listen to your computer or your radio. Please lower the volume. Please, thank you.
Graduate, Miss Jolie, I am so proud of her, and I just want to encourage her to keep trusting the Lord. And the fight is not an easy fight, but with God, all things are possible, and we continue to trust. I am really, really proud of Miss Jolie this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Marcus.
Thank you, Kathy.
Oh, hello. You've been on with me too.
Yes, yes.
May I ask you, as you're online, how are you? You're good. Okay, all right.
She's the vice president.
All right, and this lady was actually on the show. She too is a breast cancer survivor. Thank you for calling and giving her the support that she needs tonight.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you. Somebody else writes, good evening for Diana and team tonight. This is Nurse Samuel sending much love to Cheneile as she concludes tonight. It's really quite comforting to hear her speak so bravely tonight. God is in total control. So that's a WhatsApp message. All right, we have another one here. Yes, I read this one already. Just a just making sure that I get them. Yes. Good evening. I wanted to say to Cheneile that hearing her story is inspiring to everybody, even those of us without cancer. Listening to how she fought her battles gives everybody who is dealing with any illness strength. Thank you for sharing your story. Let us take this call. Hello, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
A question. Have you been to any prayer service? Any of this? Have you gone to anybody to pray concerning your condition?
Well, I am a Christian, so I go to church every Sundays, and I'm very involved in my worship and prayers. Yes. Indeed. Yes. That's right. Is that Pastor Laura?
There will be, and I want you to know that he's able, and I admire the faith that you have, and I'm just giving you that invitation, because I believe that there is a great miracle awaiting you for the glory of God's name. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Pastor. And we have someone else who writes, good evening, Fadina. I missed the beginning of your program, but the little I've heard, I am inspired and motivated by her strength. I want to wish her God's grace and mercy, and she will be in my prayers. Thanks for sharing with us. So the WhatsApp number is 275-7565. We thank you for sharing your thoughts and your comments with you. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk a bit with Yvonne a bit, and we'll just give Cheneile a little opportunity to just, gather herself a bit, and then we'll come back to her for some final comments as we're getting ready to wrap up the program tonight. Keep it locked. This is the In the Spotlight radio show.
In the Spotlight on Q95 FM radio every morning night from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight, featuring people from all walks of Dominica life, spotlighting the triumphs and tragedies, dreams, hopes, aspirations,
You recognize that number?
touching the human and personal side of our people in politics, religion, sports, business, music, culture, the media, and more. Getting to know our farmers, our public servants, youth, and the ordinary Dominican. Listen to their stories. No limitations, no restrictions, no holds barred. In the Spotlight will also spotlight interesting topics, issues, and relevant situations. Don't miss In the Spotlight on Q95 FM radio every Monday nights from 8 p.m. In the Spotlight.
One-on-one with interesting personalities, educational and informative topics and issues, intriguing and entertaining. A must listen to In the Spotlight, Monday nights from 8 p.m. on Q95.
Just a few more messages coming in here before we go to Yvonne and back to Cheneile. Somebody says, good night. I just want to say to this young lady that God has her here for a purpose, and that I would encourage her to give her life to Christ. She says she's a Christian. And always remember that it was not the doctor's healing, but our great physician, our creator. I wish her well. Somebody else says, good evening, Fidenza and Cheneile. We are listening to your story from Barbados, and we admire your strength and faith in God. Just remember that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Your story gives us the courage to fight our battles. Listening to her brought tears to my eyes. I lost my mom to cancer, and I remember she getting up during surgery and stayed awake throughout. That's the power of God and faith. Somebody says, oh yes, God is able, my love. Continue to take comfort in Daddy God. Love your program, Fidines. You are a special lady too. Okay, that was just a little extra piece there. So a message from somebody saying that they're listening to the program for the first time. I'm not sure where I saw it. I seem to have, I don't know if it's a text message. The young lady reminds us, life is not about waiting for the storms to pass. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. Oh, such an inspiration.
I love that.
And you hearing these messages coming through, Cheneile, you know, how does that make you feel? What does that say to you?
It makes me feel like I am fulfilling my purpose of being here, which is exactly that, to inspire people, to help them, to contribute to them, developing emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. I just want to pull people up. I would love to encourage that kind of environment in our society where we pull people up.
Okay, I'm not sure how good the speaker on this particular phone is, but I suspect that person wanted to send us a message. Okay, it's a bit low, but I'm hearing the person saying that they would wish that the program could go on until 11 o'clock because they do, and they stop because they do not want to lose any part of your story. You see, Cheneile, you are achieving Cheneile. If there's no R, Cheneile, you're achieving your purpose. And when we met, you said that's what you wanted to come here to do. You didn't want any pity party. Yeah, that's why I tried my best to control myself tonight. You know,
good job.
She does. Thank you. She does not want any pity party. She said she just wants to be able to come and to share her story and to hopefully help others and to hopefully inspire others. There are some messages coming there through as well on the live. I am not able to I really don't want us to touch them to interrupt the live in any way. But a couple more messages coming through. Good evening. I just had my moment. God is able. Your faith is strong. We need that faith. Hello, good evening. Yes, good evening. Yes, it is. This is the program with Cheneile. Go ahead. You're live.
Cheneile, this is Bethel.
Yes, I can hear you.
Listening to you, my heart is indeed blessed to hear of your strength in the Lord, having been through, and still yet the Lord has given you the ability, the capacity to hold on strong. Lord, I continue to encourage you to be strong in the Lord and the Lord is mine. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you.
All right. Somebody, thank you, Pastor.
That's my pastor.
That is your pastor. All right. Somebody says, first time listening to this show, I saw the ad and I just had to. This story is inspiring. She's a warrior to be battling all this and still remain positive. And that is the thing about you, Cheneile. You're still remaining positive. Okay, this is a message there for you. Somebody says, your sisters in pink are listening.
Okay.
Keep the faith. As the saying goes, to know a person's life, you need to walk a mile in his shoes. we love you. That's what they say. They're saying to you.
Let me just say something about Sisters in Pink. It's a group that started in Guadeloupe while I was there.
Oh.
We found other sisters who came from Dominica who were fighting cancer and going through the same process. And we lost one of our prominent members in January, Francine. And I just want to take a moment to just mention her.
Okay.
Because she was important to us.
Another message coming in here. It says, good night, love. I am looking at the live on Facebook. I can see that this young lady has God carrying her. She's so full of positiveness, even though she's going through so much. She's smiling through it all. May God continue to bless her always. She's indeed a beautiful and blessed young lady, and she will be fine. So somebody just saying there that you will be fine. All right.
Like that.
Somebody else says, there's quite a few messages coming in. Somebody says, hi, I'm not sure if Cheneile remembers, but I met her when we were younger at Brizzy's Mart. It must have been quite a while. I had a lump in my breast 2 years ago, and I thought it was cancer. I never had the strength Cheneile has. I'd already given up before I found out what it was. When my results came back, it was not cancerous. Right now, I'm battling with my faith, and Cheneile opened my heart. I love you, Cheneile, and I'll keep praying for you.
Thank you.
So that's somebody just touching base here, and somebody says pink all the way. So I suspect the person who was calling was from Guadeloupe, was actually trying to, yes, she said she was trying to send a voice note from Guadeloupe. You can take this, probably take this mic.
You think I need to come in?
Yvonne, yes, we'll talk to Cheneile some more, because Cheneile is really a joy to listen to. There are times that I thought she was going to break down, but she was not going to break down at all. She was just, gathering herself. Yes, indeed. Although there were times I really thought, oh my God, she's going to tear up.
Yeah, I have to go to those places.
But you've been strong, my dear. You've been very, very strong throughout this program as well here tonight. Yvonne, I could tell at times that you were listening to Cheneile, that you could relate, and that you were going back down to your own situation. Yes. You've had a mastectomy as well, and you can relate, I'm sure, to a lot of what this young lady has shared with us tonight.
Exactly. I really, really can. I nodded a lot. I was just there, taking it all in and reliving my own journey. But in relation to Cheneile, you recall she said about trusting her intuition. For me, that was also very important, because initially, from 2013 to 2015, when I felt the lump for 2 years, as far as some of the individuals in the healthcare system that I approached, they too didn't think that that lump was anything to worry about, so to speak, until I insisted I wanted it out, and then the biopsy that revealed that it was indeed cancerous. For me, Cheneile is a very young individual, and for me, I didn't have to struggle with a lumpectomy. So you realize she had a lumpectomy, then they had to go back into it a second time. And for me, this is what I was trying to avoid, having a lumpectomy and then coming back because there is something else to be removed. So I said, just take it all off. As a matter of fact, why don't you all just take both? Yeah, so I did consider a double. I was calmed down and told, I was like, there is no need to remove the second one, there's nothing wrong with it. I was actually told by the doctor that a lumpectomy could have done, but I said no, I might. And another thing too is you being part of the decision, not just leaving it to the healthcare providers. So the decision was mine that I wanted a mastectomy. And after the doctor said that on reflection, he thought that was a really very good decision for me. And for me, I didn't have the challenges that she now has as a young individual of, what if, I am married, I need to have children and so on. For me, thank God, that was not necessarily an issue because
You
I'm
already
a mature
have
adult, I
children.
have children, I have no one to breastfeed, so I'm good. You can. So these are some of the struggles, real struggles that women face. There are women who succumb because they struggle with having the surgery done, sometimes having the breast removed. They struggle with what will the husband say, what will the partner say. These are real struggles, and we're really calling for whoever the partners are, the spouses are, to understand this very serious struggle emotionally, psychologically. The women don't want to do it either, but you have to encourage them to do it because you want them to extend their lives, and sometimes this is what is going to extend their lives. So these are real issues that women face. Another issue is genetically or scientifically, once you've been diagnosed, the possibility of a recurrence. So this is why sometimes, apart from having done the surgery, you have what they refer to as the adjuvant therapy. So it may be the hormone therapy. So the one of the tamoxifen that you spoke about is one of the hormone therapies that can indeed have so many side effects. You have to determine whether it is worth taking it. Apart from it, there's other similar tablets, and then there's the chemo, of course, and then there's the radiation, which is not available locally, but which we can also support, financially by assisting people to get it where it's available, usually in Antigua. But again, we say it is about have yourself screened, do your breast self-examinations, go have a pap smear done. It is really early detection that can save your lives. Again, her own was still very early stages, so that the treatment could have been done. And when she spoke about the whole idea of the weight and how worrying that can be, and some women go through that. Some women go through the waiting simply because they don't have the means. So I want to remind individuals that we can't give you everything, but the Dominica Cancer Society can indeed make a contribution to you obtaining treatment. And this is why we are, actually imploring the general public to support, the sponsorships, the Walk for Cancer. Buy the t-shirt, walk with us, show your support, make a contribution. Even if it's $5 you can give, we will accept it, because there are individuals who really rely on this money to assist in meeting the cost of treatment. I really don't know, apart from encouraging everybody, the women, the men. Prostate is one of the leading causes of cancer and cancer deaths among men. Please get yourself screened. Screening can be done free of charge in some cases. You can go to a health center, go get screened. Ladies, do the breast self-examination, go get your pap smears done. We cannot say that too much. Early detection can save your life. This is why there are so many people who have survived cancer. Very many of us. We are healthy. It is about looking at your lifestyle as well. How you eat, how you live. And one of the things she said is about people thinking that there is something you did or whatever or didn't do that creates these type of situations. Well, hello, stress is one of the leading causes of cancer and many other similar illnesses. Stress.
Oh my, really?
Yes.
Okay, for that pay attention.
Yeah, very many cancer survivors are people who normally live active lifestyles, exercise, eat properly, but stress can do it. Stress is one of the main reasons that sometimes causes. You're just a general lifestyle, and all of that. And most importantly, when she spoke about her faith, that for me too, I related, because I remember going through my agony in the garden moment, and once I got over that, and the Spirit of God said to me, I didn't give you a spirit of fear. When I said I was afraid, and I was, crazy enough to even question why, Lord, I'm trying. And why not you? Why not you? And I remember my younger daughter calling to tell me, I had a talk with God and he said, he just wants to prepare you for whatever else is to come. Whatever that means, I'm open to it. So yes, it really does. It's almost as if when you can depend on nothing else but the Creator, the Almighty One.
His grace.
And then you realize this is all you need. This is all you need. His grace really is sufficient. Once that peace comes over you. Well, for me, I have no fear at all. I don't fear a recurrence, and I don't expect to have one. And I'm grateful to God.
All right. Before we wrap things up, just a couple more messages coming up, and then we'll go back to Cheneile for her synopsis of the program and indeed her closing remarks. Good night, listening from Toronto. We admire her fortitude, grace, and faith with which she's carried herself during her time of such serious illness. She's an inspiration to many in similar situations. And it's signed K and D. Whoever you are, K and D, thank you for the words that you shared. Somebody says the psychological impact is often worse than the physical pain experienced during breast cancer treatment for many women. I suspect one of your sisters in pink. Courage to you, Cheneile. You will be okay by God's grace. Keep the faith, darling. Sisters in pink, we got you. Somebody says, Fedina, please tell her that whatever her denomination is, please continue to attend that particular church because she has a message to the people in this church and she has a testimony. And I suspect, again, your sisters in pink. Hi, Fedina. I'm the one who sent the voice note from Guadeloupe. Pink all the way. So that's just some more messages that were coming in here for Cheneile tonight, and I'm sure you're encouraged by those, Cheneile.
I am very encouraged by the outpour of support from all around the world, and I'm sure that there are many more that we did not hear and we cannot hear, but I know that they're there, and I just want to thank you for listening to the program, and I hope that you can go away with something important tonight and you can apply it to your life and you can make a difference in your life or in someone else's life. Yeah, but, I just want to close by saying I'm very thankful for being on this program, and for that this is a very good program. You should continue it.
I'm trying my best to do that. Takes a lot, so but anyway.
I want to encourage people to do support the Cancer Society and people with cancer, because there are a lot of problems after post-cancer that people face. The mountain bills is just crazy. Like right now, I really would like a bump in my salary. I don't know if anybody listening can do that. Please.
It would help.
It would definitely help if I could get a bump in my salary. I have a lot of debt.
As a result
of breast cancer treatment.
Or if somebody is out there and they would like to help you,
yes,
I'm sure you would welcome that. Don't worry, they'll know how to contact you to find you. They just find me and they find you.
I will. So I just want to say thank you for having us on this program, and I want to encourage you to continue assisting persons with cancer. It's not something that they call themselves. Please refrain from saying things to cancer people that might be insensitive, right? Just say that I would like to bring back a topic from one of the callers who asked me if I was eating anything, or if my doctor said that I was eating anything. I would like to respond to that with more. Before I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was eating very healthily. I mean, I was on top of my game with food. I was in Trinidad. I could eat, everything was cheap. I could eat very good, very healthily. And also, I was doing a performing arts degree. My major, what I was following was philosophy and education of performing arts. So I had to do a lot of exercises and movement classes. So I was active and I was eating well. And I was praying well, doing my meditations. I was on top of my game in those areas because, as you might have realized by now, that I am very altogether with myself, organized. Not with my room though. My room is not organized at all. Thank God my head is. So yes, it was not anything to do with food. I don't think so. It is impossible because I was eating all what I was needing to eat, and it still happened. So I feel very offended sometimes when people say, "Oh," and one time I was told I was eating chicken in my staff room, and my coworker, my colleague, my dear friend, said to me, "It can't be chicken you're eating. It can't be chicken you're eating there." But the doctors encourage you to eat white meat when you have cancer, and chicken is one of the white meats. So it's like, if not chicken, what? Then what? Fish, I do eat fish, but is it always really available for me to get? Also, can I afford fish? I can probably afford chicken, but not fish. But those are all different things, little things that might trigger somebody as being insensitive. Albeit, I was not offended by her at all. Just want to make that clear, with yourself. But I'm just using this as an opportunity to teach.
Yes.
So that's what I would have to say, and I would like to encourage persons to find faith, because we all need faith in our lives, and God is a good place to start, right? Because we did not create ourselves, we're not in control of anything, everything is happening around us, we're just responding. Therefore, somebody is, or not somebody, or what a spirit is doing what we cannot do. So therefore we must respect the creator of our universe and have faith in him that he will see us through. And oftentimes people say something happened and then they're alive and they say, "Thank God I'm alive today." Does that mean that if you were dead you would in a, let's say, in a hypothetical sense, you would say that you're not thanking God because you're dead? No. In fact, when you're dead, you can't thank God. So, I just want to encourage people to find God, find your faith, find that inner strength that they need, your intuition. I speak about my intuition and my inner voice. I believe that it is God speaking to me. Animals are very sensitive. They listen to their intuitions. Why don't we? We need to get back to the basics of things. So, I just want to say that those things, I'm just sending you to sleep tonight, just pondering on some of the things that I said tonight, and that it will reach you and it will really make a difference in your life. Yes.
You're amazing. You're an amazing young woman. Just a couple of messages quickly before we wrap up here. Elijah, and I suspect it might be Elijah Benoit, who says, "Good evening, Cheneile. That's such an emotional story. You're strong and you are an inspirational figure in my life. Keep the faith, sis." Oh, that's for your brother. Oh, Elijah, your brother-in-law. Okay. And then just quickly here, somebody's asking, would she allow to see her number so we can send her some words of encouragement? Probably off the air. I can probably share it with them if you wish.
Yes.
If you wish. Okay? Are you okay with that?
Yes, I'm
okay. Okay. All right. Awesome. What a program this has been tonight. I really wanted to, before we thank you, Cheneile, in 2 weeks, 2 Mondays time, because I said I was going to divide October into independence, culture related, and cancer, breast cancer awareness month. And not next Monday, but the following Monday, we will have 1 or 2 other persons here with us who are also willing to share their stories. And Yvonne, I really want to thank you for working with me to get Cheneile here. and to get the other persons here, because these stories are very, very important to share. We need to hear these stories, and we need the words of encouragement that come from people who have actually been through, and to share with people like myself, even who probably has my own situation dealing with, which that's probably not cancer, but maybe something else. You understand? So like somebody said earlier on, they don't have cancer, but your words inspired them anyway, and that's important. You wanted to say one last thing?
I just wanted to end by saying that I am cancer free. Okay, I am totally and completely cancer free. I got my results last month. I did my last sort of checkup and blood work and ultrasounds and mammo and the whole works, and I remain in remission. So I am. That is the way I wanted to end on that note.
Positively,
yes.
You go, girl. Cancer free. That is it. And on that note, we come to the end of the In the Spotlight radio show for tonight. Again, my sincere thanks to this young lady for being a brave soul and for coming here and sharing such a personal story, because that's what it is. It's a personal story, very personal. A story that probably otherwise, in fact, you told me that it took you some time to find yourself.
Yes.
And to recognize yourself and to bring yourself to this point.
Yes.
So I'm happy you got to the point where you were brave enough to come here and to share with us. I didn't ask you one thing, Cheneile, that I probably want to ask before you wrap up quickly. Your husband, what was his role in all of this? And how is he?
He's not a very spoken person. He likes to keep in the shadows. And but he has been a tower of strength for me, and I'm very thankful to him. He's not in Dominica, actually. He's a student, and he lives in America. So it's very difficult right now because we're not together. We haven't seen each other since January. So that is difficult to deal with. But
oh, somebody please sponsor her a ticket to go see her husband.
but I have to stay here so I can work. So yes.
Alright.
He has been very, very, very good.
Okay. Alright, thank God for him then. Alright. Okay, we're really gonna wrap things up now. I have to ensure that this young lady gets home safely tonight. So our journey has not ended yet. We have a little trekking to do before our night ends. But thank you so much, Cheneile, and thank you again, Yvonne. Thank you, Kadisha, for being here. Thank you to everyone who supports this program in whatever way or the other. And we will be back here next Monday, God willing, for another In the Spotlight radio show. God give us strength, guidance and protection that we can make it to be here always. God, thank you for my life. Thank you for giving me strength. I mean, when I hear stories like these, you know, it's 25 minutes past the 10 o'clock hour. On that note, we wrap it up. Until next time, thank you so much, everyone, for listening through or viewing through whichever medium you chose tonight. It was indeed my pleasure. And again, thank you to Cheneile. God bless you, my darling.
God bless you.
It was indeed my pleasure.